And we're back for game number 2 of this best of 3. Orange taking on Rattlesnake, and Rattlesnake out to stun the world again. They got past MUFC in Phase 2, hanging a big 2-0 loss on them and punching their ticket on their way to Phase 3. Now taking on one of the teams that many people, including my co-broadcaster for the day, Loda, and myself, agree is one of the best squads on the face of the earth. And Rattlesnake, to be honest, just made it look easy in game 1. I mean, honestly, they were in control of that game basically from the word go. They had a beautiful draft. They laned it perfectly. They came out ahead in 2 out of 3 lanes, broke even in the try-on-try. And from there, Orange was just on the back foot the entire time and never really had a chance to get themselves into that match. The Morphling pick never really materialized as anything that was going to have a big influence. And Rattlesnake rolled to just about a 35-minute win. Now, looking to close the door 2-0. Orange, though, going to look to force a game 3. If you're just tuning in, I'm Ayesee, joined by Lodeberg for the broadcast here on One More Game TV 2. And the bands, Bad Rider Nix, no surprise on the Dire side, Darkseer and Nakes taken out by Rattlesnake.
Yeah, once again, we just have these normal bands, if you'd like to call them that. It's interesting to see Rattlesnake picking up the mag this time, and I wonder if Orange are going to go for SD clock. It would be funny at least. But it's hard to say. Probably, yeah. I was about to say Lone Druid since he hasn't been banned.
Why do you not ban the Lone Druid? I'm not Loda. I don't think through Phase 2 all the way through to today, I don't think I've seen a Lone Druid lose. I really don't. Like in the entire Asian qualifier, I don't think I've seen him lose. But a combination that many consider the bane of playing Dota.
Oh, wow.
And a
I played it. I played PL yesterday in Navi, and we won. But I was quite flamed by it, I think. I mean, it's the Cancer Lancer. Everybody hates the Cancer Lancer right now. And the hero is just... It's just very stupid. I mean, if you're just able to split push very well, it's so hard for your opponents to fight, and they're kind of fighting against the clock. And PL, Keeper of the Light, is just such a strong pickup. I mean, together with the mag, Rattlesnake are they just want to win this game 100%, and they're not gonna let... They're not gonna let their own respect for certain heroes or stuff keep them from picking it.
I'll tell you what I love about a Phantom Lancer pick, and why I like him even a lot more than most of the other, what you would label typical ultra late game carries, is Phantom Lancer, depending on how you build him and what items you prioritize, basically the only item he needs to be able to show up to fights and have an influence is a Diffusal Blade. I mean, and there's a variety of ways you can build him leading up to that. You can go Tranquils into, you can go like Tranquil Drums right up to the Diffusal, or you can, you know, get a Ring of Aquilay or Quilay, or however it's pronounced. You can get that in your inventory if you really want to just give yourself a little bit more sustain and so on. But in cases like this, when you're going to be dealing with a Lone Druid, now a Brewmaster, of course, a hero with a best by date, a hero that does get worse as the game goes on. He peaks at about level 11, about the time he gets his second level ult up, but then he begins to fall off in terms of just how much influence he can have on a fight, even if he gets a lot of core items up. But given what we're already seeing out of Orange, I really would love to see a Phantom Lancer do something like just go straight up to Tranquil Boots Drums, right into a Diffusal, right into a Heart, and rely on how stable Magnus and Keeper of the Light are going to be to keep the towers up. And those are two heroes that are extremely difficult to push into just because of the initiation potential of Magnus, to say nothing of Keeper of the Light, who might arguably be the best counter push hero in the entire game for 2 reasons. One, Illuminate, there's no secret to that, but his ability to bring someone into the fight on a moment's notice via his ult, very often underestimated.
Yeah, that ability is so great, and especially in those situations where you can actually, when you know one of your heroes has buyback, you can kind of suicide in with that hero just to get a great initiate, and then you just right away buyback, TP back that hero, and you're gonna be able to finish the rest off. But I like the pickups from Orange still. I mean, it looks like they're gonna go for a heavy take down early tier 1, tier 2 towers, just lane dominance and control the game, and then go for something to end the game. That's what I would like to see them do.
Right.
Maybe even a Shen pickup.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, if you're going to do this, you kind of need to go all in, given, I mean, you know, for better or for worse, one of the reasons people hate Phantom Lancer, he is a hero, and they do have a good counter to him, by the way. That's something worth mentioning, too. The fact that Orange picked up a Shadow Demon who's going to be able to disrupt one of the Phantom Lancer illusions. So they have something to fall back on in the late game. But Lone Druid versus Phantom Lancer, all things being equal, that's a matchup that if both have full inventories, the Phantom Lancer should win 9 times out of 10. So Orange is definitely going to look to get a lot of work done in the mid game. Now looking for another support pickup. Lina still very much available if they want to go that direction.
Yeah, and I mean, the Chinese teams play a bit different with PL than, I mean, at least if you look at IG, for example, when I saw them play with PL, they play more about defending towers and like fighting with the PL, like even early on, while European teams tend to just full out split push.
Right.
You can even give away towers for making sure giving the space for PL to get those early items. I mean, once PL has, let's say I always go Tranquil Drum into Yasha, no, probably into a Diffusal, then into a Manta style. And when you have those items, you're already really strong, and especially you're so strong at split pushing.
Yeah.
Because you can just, because if you have max double walk, you have max last, you can just start spreading your illusions everywhere and pretty much farm every camp there is. And I feel Hero is extremely strong. But I mean, of course, it's still counterable.
Yep.
We've beaten it twice, and that doesn't mean we are extremely good as a team. It's just that we have some experience in playing as PL.
Right.
But I still have to say, it's not nice to play against PL. You are fighting against the clock, and that's something that affects your play and your decision making. Because you're gonna have that clock in your head, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, okay, we only took 1 Rax. It's 35 minutes in. PL is getting that second item now. Has Heart, Manta, Diffusal level 2. He's killing every support in 1 second. You know." Well, we'll see. I mean, if they have, it's more about just getting items on every hero and then just destroying those illusions as fast as you see them, and then just pressure in. I have no idea what they're going to follow up this last pick with, though.
I'll tell you what worries me for Orange, and I've seen Phantom Lancer defeated numbers of times across many tournaments I broadcasted. So, I mean, the hero is not unbeatable by any stretch, but what you usually want and what you need to deal with the Phantom Lancer is some kind of a mobility approach, some kind of an approach. Even a Nyx Assassin does really well. Just someone who can get in, get out, who can catch him out, have dust, move around with 1 or 2 people. They do not have a very mobile lineup. They have a lineup who wants to push as 5, who wants to fight as 5 early, and now with the Dragon Knight pickup, that still just continues to play into that, really. But Rattlesnake... Go ahead.
It's going to be very hard for Orange to fight, because when they want to enter the base, they will have to deal with Illuminate, Magnus Wave, Rubik's Nuke, and then Appeal just throwing out lances. I mean, even if they have the pipe, I'm not sure it will be enough.
10 seconds
remaining. Be enough to like counter those nukes.
5 seconds remaining.
So I think Orange will focus, as I said, on the lane dominance. They will take the first tier 1, tier 2 towers, and then just abuse the Roche Pit, I think, and push in with Ayesee. I wouldn't like to see them playing a passive game here, and it looks like they're actually gonna go for the aggressive tri-lane.
I'll tell you what really worries me, and it plays into everything you just said, Loda, is they have a lineup that, in my opinion, wants to get active at level 6. Like, this is a lineup who, once Brewmasters level 6 are in that general range, once Lone Druid has his bear maxed out, once Lina in particular has Laguna Blade and so on and so forth, more than likely we'll see the Dragon Knight max Breathe Fire, so they're going to have a decent amount of spam ability coming out of Clap, coming out of Breathe Fire, coming out of Dragon Slave, so they've got plenty of ways to do damage. But what worries me is they're going to be 1 or 2 lost fights away in the mid game from falling a mile behind because of this Bounty Hunter pick. Bounty Hunter coming in and defending the tier 1s and the tier 2s. If Orange breaks even on a fight there, let's say that they engage under the tower, they don't get the tower, and they end up going 3 for 3 with their opponents. That's at that stage of the game, because of the influence of a Bounty Hunter, that's actually a huge loss for them, because chances are there's going to be 1 or 2 track kills involved, and Bounty is a hero who should not flourish in a 5-on-5 environment. He is a hero who, during the early stages of the game, the mid-game stages of the game, wants to move in smaller skirmish bands. He wants to move as 3 or 4 or even 2 to look for kills that way. So Orange, and they've got plenty of firepower. I'm not saying Orange is outmatched and that they don't have the ability to just run over Rattlesnake if Rattlesnake is not wonderfully positioned. But it's always a worry whenever you're running a lineup like this that does have a Best Buy date, that does have the clock of a Phantom Lancer on the other side. If Bounty Hunter is in position and they break even in too many fights early on, they're actually going to end up about 10,000 gold behind after just 1 or 2 fights like that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the bounty is just so great when it comes to those fights where you break even, and in lineups where you kind of just want to break even, because you just want to just defend those towers and like prepare for the late game. And it's gonna be very interesting to see, because you can see that Orange are moving to go for the aggressive tri lane, but Rattlesnake seems to be going for the. Perhaps they will go for the aggressive. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna go for an aggressive tri lane with Keeper of the Light, Phantom Lancer, and Rubik. And if that's gonna be a
miserable. That is miserable.
Yeah, that's gonna be very, very scary. But we'll see if they're gonna switch around quite fast there. I'm not even sure if they were planning on sending DK on the tri lane, or if no. It looks like the DK is planned to be on solo mid. They're gonna do a Panda tri lane.
I like that call, actually. I like seeing the Brewmaster used in a lot of different ways. Looks like we're going to have another disconnect, so hopefully we'll have them back in action momentarily. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here. If you're just tuning in, I'm Ayesee, joined by Lodeberg of No Tidehunter for this broadcast. Game number 1 already behind us. Rattlesnake walked away with a very impressive Game 1 win there. Orange now looking to try and force a Game 3 once we get underway, but well, I mean, it's when I look at Orange's lineup, this is one of those things that I've just kind of noticed as the caster, Loda, and I'd like to hear your opinion as a player. When I look at Orange's lineup, okay, and I look at how it works against Rattlesnake, I cannot identify a stage in the game when I feel like their lineup's going to be stronger just by virtue of its composition. Whenever I see a situation like that, it makes me worry for that team, because it means that to get ahead, they're going to have to outplay their opponents at least one major time. Like, they're going to have to win a fight that they had no business winning. They're going to have to get a tower that they shouldn't have gotten if it wasn't for poor movement or poor decision-making from Rattlesnake. Where they do have a big advantage, though, is making sure that they draw a 5-on-5 fight together early on, as you talked about, with obviously wanting to push. Rattlesnake, though, just has such a good safety belt pick in that Bounty Hunter that they can afford to even lose towers, and so long as there's some track kills involved, they're going to be able to hang in there just long enough to get this Phantom Lancer where he wants to be.
Well, I think their lineup is quite fine. It's just that they will have. I mean, the laning phase will decide a lot. It will be more about Orange being able to get some pickoffs. Let's say they get a pickoff on the mag, they get a pickoff on the Keeper of the Light. Let's just say the mag. If they're able to pick off the mag, suddenly Rattlesnake's fighting power isn't so strong.
Right.
To be honest. And they do have DK, who once he hits level 6, he's going to be able to ship down a tower by himself. Maybe it's going to be slow, but he will still be able to be very effective in getting towers down. The only thing, as I said before, that I'm very scared about is this Syllabear, because if he has free farm, and as I said before, if he has free farm, let's say he goes for the early game build, let's say he goes for face boots for that early damage from the bear, and then he follows up with the armlet, then they will have the damage for the towers. They can even, because that bear can even tank a lot, and the tier 1 towers will be no problem taken down. But if he's gonna be laning up against PL called Rubik, and he won't get support fast enough, it's going to be a very, very hard lane. But at the same time, when you think about it, SD and Lina can just go top, pretty much. I mean, this Panda will be able to solo the Bounty Hunter, I think. yeah, the Panda shouldn't lose to the Bounty Hunter. You can even skill Drunken Haze once and just make sure you ruin his last hits
Right.
and such. So the lineup wise, it's okay. It's just that, as you said, it relies on Orange playing this strategy really, really well, and it relies on them getting pickoffs.
Right.
And if they don't get those pickoffs, then the game will be very, very troublesome. But
yep. That's a hard position to play from, and I'm sure as a player you have a much better sense of that than I do. But knowing that you can't just play stable, knowing that the onus, you're completely under the gun to execute in the first 30 minutes. Otherwise, just by composition and by what you're up against, you're likely to find yourself behind.
Yeah. And you're completely right there. It is an annoying thing. But we'll see. I mean, they don't have really bad late game, but I mean, it's obvious. They don't really want to bring this to a 55-minute game, I think.
Yep.
But we'll see. Maybe they have some special plans.
Very much agreed. Sorry for the slight delay, guys. Looks like still waiting on someone to wind out some lag or some kind of technical issue. Would love it if you'd hit follow here on One More Game TV, too. We're going to be bringing you G1 Phase 3 action for the next 10 days. Well, I mean, there's no basic to it. We are going to be bringing you all of the action throughout the G1 League here on One More Game TV, too. I'll be here broadcasting either by my lonesome, but sometimes joined by great personalities like Lodeberg. Lode has been here more than anyone, so you are my official part-time co-caster for G1. You can stick that on a resume.
Oh, that's so good. I feel honored.
But
I'm just happy being here.
Yeah, but it's good for us to work together. You and I casted together way back when. You took time out of your day to cast with me when I knew nothing about Dota. I like to think maybe I know a little bit more about Dota than I did a year ago. Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, you know, that sexy voice of yours, I couldn't.
Can't resist it, can you? I whisper sweet nothings into your ear. Yeah. I make Kelly jealous. That's. Yeah. But it's okay. You're a loyal man. She knows. She's got you in her back pocket, wrapped around her little finger.
If you can't fight them, join them.
Exactly, man. All right, looks like enough of the sexy talk. We talk about Dota. Dota is sexy, though. So, actually, we'll just stick with the sexy talk theme. Let's take a look at our lineup. See who's going to be handling who, starting on the side of Rattlesnake. Lannon, the captain, who once again got the best of Mushi in Game 1. I'll talk a little bit about that storyline here in a minute. He's going to be playing our Keeper of the Light, Phantom Lancer. Going to be farmed up by Ayesee. He's actually hanging out at mid for the moment. Kabu.
Yeah, he's going to be solo mid. I mean, he went for a triple Ironwood Branch Tango build.
I don't know that I've ever seen this. I have never seen a solo mid Phantom Lancer.
Well, it's going to be up against a DK, so I guess it's not going to be that hard, but is he going to get killed the first thing that happens?
Orange is making their way over under cover of an Invis rune on net. He's got Lina right there with him. And Mushi has not placed a skill point yet, so he's going to be able to place Dragon Tail. Yep, here we go. Sentry Ward goes down. Follow-up Light Strike Array. Dragon Tail will be there. And this is going to be a very quick first blood in the back pocket of Orange, and Mushi's going to get it. Very well executed out of Orange. I'm a little baffled as to why they chose to lane this way. This I just don't get. Why would you take the chance of putting a Phantom Lancer? I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Obviously, Mushi's off to a great start. But they had an advantage running an offensive tri-lane, as you had pointed out so astutely. Instead, they end up giving away first blood, and now Ayesee going to be playing from behind.
Yeah, I can't say I completely agree with this. Because even if you send the PL mid and he will get some space farming there, mid is always easier to gank. And your supports have to counter gank by TPing there or just standing and protecting you, but this doesn't seem like a game where they're gonna try to do some kind of pseudo double lane thing in mid. They're actually tri-laning the mag.
I don't know. This is just, I mean, and I'm not necessarily saying it's bad. It's just something I've never seen. Bottle is done on Mushi. He's got 600 gold in the bank as well. Actually, Ayesee is kind of playing his way back into this. I mean, he's just about on par with him already. He's a little behind in farm, but that could change again. As Orange has smoked up, they're going to have Net and Extinct moving along the backside. He's got 1 point in the doppel walk, but a sentry already there. Can they follow it up? He's caught out again, down to half health. He will be followed up with the Dragon Tail, and they're going to get him twice. Absolute disastrous middle lane so far, and Orange making their lineup work for them. They lead 2-0 as well as the first blood.
Yeah, and this was exactly what I wanted to see from Orange. They're not playing this passive whatsoever.
Yep.
as soon as they saw that peel in mid, they make sure to focus on that lane and destroy his solo mid potential, because now Mushi has boots, he has a bottle, it's gonna be bottle refilling if he doesn't get the rune, and Mushi is just gonna get so strong. He's already level 4, while Ayesee has to run back in mid at 3.5. So
full level ahead now for Mushi, and already in great shape. Down here at bottom, we can see Luo's level 4. Same for our Broom. Actually, Luo's ahead of the Brewmaster somehow. How the hell did that happen? But anyway,
well, Bounty is a really good solo, I have to say. But Luo didn't go for the. Ohio didn't go for the Drunken Haze.
Yep, that's
and there's not so many players that actually go for the Drunken Haze, that they do underrate that ability, and I think he should have skilled at least 1 point in that one. But we'll see. He still has some time to do that.
Bottle up on the Brewmaster as well. Bounty well on his way to 5. Back here in mid, obviously the marquee matchup. Phantom Lancer is actually still keeping it somewhat close in CS. He's at 11 to the 16 of Mushi. Mushi, though, just about level 5 and more or less fresh level 4 for Phantom Lancer, so he is trailing a full level. Thought he had boots in his inventory. Guess I misread that, or maybe they're on the courier. Nope, I could have swore he had bought boots. Mushi, though, already has his boots up, and we can already see how aggressive he's willing to play now. The rest of Orange has rotated to the top. Ned and Extinct joining up with KYXY, trying to get something more out of this lane. If there's one good thing they have going for them, despite how disastrous mid has been, Lone Druid is still down at about the bottom of the CS. He's down at 10, more than doubled up by DK and by the Brewmaster, but Phantom Lancer sitting at 14 himself, certainly not where he wants to be.
Yeah, you can see Mushi here. He kept the chicken in mid. Was considering bottle refilling, but then he saw the rune right away, so he decided to keep it in mid. And now they're gonna bottle refill the bottom lane instead. So they're gonna be bottle refilling 2 lanes, and Orange are doing quite well right now. I have to look how top is going.
Up at top, Luminate gonna be tossed out. Will catch Lina. Lina loses a bit of health here. This is one of those lanes that you can just see is gonna break out into a big fight soon. All level 3s on the side of Rattlesnake, level 2 for Shadow Demon, level 3 for the Druid, and Lina sitting at level 2 as well. So experience-wise, they have done pretty okay up in that lane at the very least. And Magnus sitting at 16 last hits, but they're just being completely outclassed now by Ohio and DK in terms of farm. Lone Druid is still struggling quite a bit. He's sitting at just 11 to his credit, and even some of those came out of the jungle. So they do have a little bit of time before they have to worry about him tremendously, and they may just go ahead and decide to try pushing this tier 1 tower down, try to force some kind of movement out of Orange, if no other reason than to try to make them make a mistake.
Yeah, but I'm still quite interested about this top lane. I mean, I understand the basics. They pretty much just want to keep pressuring the lane, keep making sure that the Lone Druid doesn't have an easy time farming, and I mean, you can see he already had to send his bear home. And if they're just able to last it a lot like they're doing, they will be able to bring this tower down at some point.
Luo having a pretty good time of things down here. He's already level 6 on his way to level 7. So Rattlesnake gonna have track ready to roll if and when they want to start moving him around. His last hits are actually really good too. He's sitting at 21 in the face of a Brewmaster that I think we both anticipated would have a much better go of things down there.
Yeah, that was close. The PL would have, if the rune spawned bottom, the PL would maybe have died even, but he will try to go for the kill on bottom instead from Orange.
Orange moving to Luo. There's the dust. Luo will be disrupted. Follow up Light Strike Array. There it is. Can they get the damage done? Clap. Not going to get there quick enough. He is still dusted, but they have no way to catch him. He's just moving too quick. And I'll tell you what, it would actually... Ohio boned him there. They would have had a much better chance of killing him because of track when he showed up with track.
I was about to say the same thing because I was going to say something like, yeah, the bounty hunter tracked the Lina or the SD and ran away, but then I was like, what?
Yep,
no, there's
Ohio.
Yeah.
Yep, so Ohio rushing in, wanted to be a part of the cool kids crowd, wanted to be a part of that kill, and I honestly think they would have got him if he hadn't showed up. But anyway, Mushi now under some pressure. Luo's there. Now, if they can get a track kill here, this will be huge. Can they get it done? Ayesee's going to go for it. Spirit Lance is there. That should be that. Down he goes. Net tried to disrupt him. Now he's going to manage to catch one, so we'll catch her off on Luo. Luo should be able to make it to safety, though. Now, that's exactly what we were talking about before, Loaded. Not to say that, oh, they killed him once, so therefore the game is completely in their favor now. It's not that, but the value of that kill is so much higher, given it was a track kill, given Phantom Lancer was involved, and given it was Mushi.
Yeah, that was a very, very important kill right there. And it will make the game easier for the PL. And if you look at top lane, this Syllaber is getting very, very pushed back. I mean, he has 15 CS, and a few of those are even creeps in the jungle, I think.
Yeah.
So he is having a hard time, but at the same time, Panda is doing exactly what he wants. I guess he's gonna either go for a fast, yeah, he's most likely gonna go for a fast dagger so they can start taking fights. And Mushi has already started hitting the tower mid, but they did get the top tower. I missed that. So the top lane for Rattlesnake it seems to be working out.
And DK will fall back, finds himself a double damage rune. He is tracked out right now by Luo. Luo going to go ahead and make his way to top. They may just want to go ahead and sack this tier 1. Not much of a chance for it to stay alive much longer. Mushi is taking a bit of damage, but tower will be denied.
Oh, that was very good for Rattlesnake getting that deny, because Mushi had the DD and I actually thought he would even use the
Lone Druid going to be dove up top. He's been tracked out. Needs a Janata. Can they catch him? He's, oh, nope. I thought he was going to skewer. I really did. Opted not to, though. Luo perhaps tipping his hand a little bit too early. Rattlesnake not in position to follow it up. The rest of Orange now making their way down. Illuminate, not going to catch anyone. And Brewmaster manages to bring down the tier 1 bottom. So right now the kills in the tower is going the way of Orange. We'll take our first look at the gold graph. But this genuinely surprises me, and it's owed almost entirely to how well that top lane did, and as well as how well Luo did in the face of Brewmaster. It's less than 500 gold separating these two teams, despite a 1 tower advantage already for Orange, as well as First Blood. Oh no, now KYXY going to be telekinesis back. The skewer does come up short. Shockwave plus Illuminate, not quite enough. He uses his wand charges. His magic stick charges, rather. There's a Fade Bolt. Bear's there.
Oh, we need that
Shockwave! No! Poor Bear. That's a frowny Bear right there. Give him a frowny face because he couldn't get the entangle he wanted. But
he's gonna TP out.
They're doing an admirable job of keeping that Lone Druid down. Like, one of the better jobs I've seen throughout G1 so far.
Yeah, and I guess their plan starts to make more and more sense. I guess they wanted to focus on the top lane. I mean, even if they lose the mid tower, that will just give a bit more space for Peel to farm safer. And since are focusing on that top lane, Orange will have to respond in some way. And that just gives some space for the Peel, who will just get stronger. But it's going to be interesting to see. They're going to go for some kind of initiation here. We have the Panda, Lina, and SD plus DK moving bottom. They're going to try to pick off this bounty and then go for the tier 2 tower.
And Luo, going to be spotted out. Immediately Shadow walks. He doubles back. Oh, he juked him. Bought himself a little bit of time. But is it enough time? No. The long range on Dragon Tail catches him out. Now, this is going to give time for his team to react. They're not going to react at all, actually. They're just going to focus Druid. And this is something I think Rattlesnake's going to consider a win. Giving away the Bounty Hunter to get a Lone Druid off the board once again. And this has just been a horrible game for KYXY. He's already died twice. He's 0-2-0 right now. 2-1 and 0 on Mushi. Excuse me, 2-1 and 1 on Mushi. Certainly good. But now the question is, how are they going to react to this tier 2 bottom? And they've sent 1. The glyph has been used. They've left 2 up there. That's Sag and Kabu. And it looks like they're just going to try to defend it with Keeper, using Blinding Light to try and create some space. Now the Illuminate going to help clear the creeps. That was actually a poorly timed Illuminate. Now the next creep wave is going to be right on the tower already. Now lining it up, going to run back out, trying to get some attention. The rest of his team giving some attention to top. But Orange will go ahead and leave unsatisfied. KYXY, again, having such a rough game. He's got 26 last hits at 11 minutes into this game, and he's died twice.
Yeah, he's having a really, really rough time this game. And I think he kind of underestimated the opponents, or not underestimated, but just misread them, I guess, because he felt that the opponents would respond to the early aggression on the other lanes from Orange, but they haven't left him alone at all. and they just focus on killing the Zilla before he reaches that level 6, once he gets harder to kill. And I think KYXY will get some more space right now.
Well, Ayesee needs some space as well. As much as we've been harping on Rattlesnake and what a good job they've done of keeping the Druid down, Phantom Lancer not quite in that bad a shape, but he has taken a lot of damage. We're going to see something stolen. He managed to get clapped. And now the telekinesis brings him right back. I'm really surprised they didn't try to follow that up. But anyway, Ohio does make it away. But Phantom Lancer at just 45 last hits at 12 minutes. He's had a pretty tough time. Mushi having a great game. He's got to have an item.
No, he's going to get killed, I think.
Yep, RP.
Yeah,
locked it down. This should be a track kill. And exactly, I'll tell you what Rattlesnake's doing that's allowing them to hang around in this game, despite the fact that Orange, up until that moment, Orange by all rights should be dominating. Like when you look at the gold and the experience. Oh no, net in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's...
I can't believe he stayed there after Mushi got picked off. But
yeah, I was thinking that's one of those moments, and I've said this before in games of all types. What was he doing there? Like, what was the goal?
He wanted to remove the ward. That's probably that. He really wanted to remove that observer ward, and he thought that the opponents were done, but they obviously weren't.
In the meantime, the tier 1 bottom gonna be the target. And a little bit of damage being done to mid as well. Rattlesnake looks like they may just go ahead and back out, not wanting to overcommit here. A little bit of...
Are they actually gonna hunt?
Land him.
Right down.
It's gonna bowl. He tried to split, but it was interrupted by telekinesis. And he will be able to make it away.
Look at this top lane.
Top lane. Yep. They're going to engage the KYXY. He's down to half health already. This is going to be another track kill. This is beginning to become bad news. Luo, he's going to be level 11 soon. That's the one thing they have going for them, really, is the fact that, yes, these are track kills, but it's not level 2 track yet. Once Luo hits level 11, if he's able to add a few more track kills, it's going to be bad news. I mean, look at the gold. They're playing their way back into this, despite being down this many towers. Basically just on the back of clutch pickoffs, holding Mushi down, holding KYXY down, and making sure they get track kills when they can. Now, Kabu's going to be here to bail out his buddy.
Mushi's going to get a kill on the Keeper of the Light, and that's really important, because now they're going to be able to take this bottom tower without much trouble, I think. And it seems like Rattlesnake are already kind of planning on giving up this bottom tower.
Yeah, tower at just 350 hit points. I actually thought Kabu was going to be able to bail him out there. He didn't commit to the fight, though. Instead...
It seems like they will try to defend it. And I guess that's the right decision.
They got Phantom Lancer alone up. Here we go. Initiation out of Ohio. Tried to split, did not get it off. A little bit of spam going out. They're going to get the tower for free. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. Phantom Lancer will be TPing away now. Now they're going to try to re-engage, and their RP caught too. He's going to follow it up with a good skewer shockwave.
Great RP.
And now Mushi down below half health. They're able to clean one up. Now looking for the Lena. They're going to get her for free. That's 2 down. Mushi is tracked out. We're going to see Mag tossed in the air. Luo's got a beat on his target, though. Mushi's ult wears off, and he's going to be killed and tracked as well. 9-4, and now it's going to be 0 for 4 as Ohio reassembles, being tracked down. Another track kill. Luo has played as good a bounty hunter as I've seen, and I'll tell you what's making him good. He is being very aggressive whenever he has to, but he is just getting all of his tracks off. Almost every kill, it feels like. Of the Rattlesnake has 10 kills. I guarantee 7 of them have been track kills, at least. Now they're going to get another one on KYXY. He's way too far forward on the tower. He's tanky as hell, but should not be able to get away here, and he will be tracked down.
I feel that KYXY really plays a bit too aggressive. I mean, I understand he wants to get this tier 1 tower, but he should understand that they can always TP there.
Yep.
It's not so hard to TP gang, or just TP to a tier 2 tower, and they have 2 Invis heroes. So I feel that he should be a bit more passive in this game. Maybe return to jungle. Just to get those items he needs. I mean, he just needs the face armlet pretty much, and he should play safe until he gets that, I think. But I mean, now Mushi has his Shadow Blade, and we'll see if he can make some magic with this.
I'll tell you what, this kind of worries me a bit, to be honest. I thought Mushi was going to be going drums first and foremost, and I feel like that would have benefited him a lot just in terms of the stat gain that he really needs to be able to hang in these fights. But going Shadow Blade is going to allow him to do some decent single target damage, but who's going to be the target? If you engage on Keeper of the Light, he's going to blinding light you. If you engage on, I mean, Magnus is not going to be anywhere near the fight until he's ready to blow an RP anyway. Rubik has the ability to escape pretty well just using Telekinesis. Bounty Hunter, as we've seen, if there's anyone tracked that's anywhere near him, he's going to be able to get away. I can't help but question that a little bit. Damage doesn't seem to be the problem for Orange to me. It's the fact that these fights are being strung out too long, and they're unable to hang once everybody from Rattlesnake re-engages. There's a good route, though. Locks Luo down. He throws the track off. TP will come out. But I feel like Rattlesnake's playing this great, and if you look at the Golden experience, this is exactly what we were talking about during the draft and why we both like the Bounty Hunter pick and our big concern for Orange. Is Orange is getting towers. They're getting map control, but they're breaking even or coming out behind in terms of the fights. And look at the Golden experience that is going their way. Now Mushi's going to engage, going to catch Lanham. Lanham will not be cleaned up. He's going to be able to make it away. Big RP. Skewered 2 back. Mushi's gone. About to be gone. He is tanky, but not tanky enough. They end up going 2 for 2 so far, but now Ohio taking a lot of damage as well. They're going to engage on Luo. I'm actually surprised Rattlesnake didn't do a better job of following up that RP out of Kabu.
Yeah, I thought that fight would go straight in the way of Rattlesnake, but Orange responded in a good way, and they were able to get 3 kills out of that, and I think they did win that fight, even if they... Well, it was just a Keeper of the Light and Rubik, though, and the Bounty. But they still didn't get the PL, and PL already has his diffusal now. Mm-hmm. So I mean, the PL will just become stronger and stronger in these fights.
Yep.
So this doesn't look very, very good for Orange at this moment, I feel.
KYXY still struggling to find his farm. He's got 1,200 gold on him. He's got a casual cloak. And he's also got a set of phase finally up on that bear. But as you mentioned, I mean, PO having his diffusal now, he's going to be a lot more effective in fights. And this is where Empower against the show itself. Kabu only with 1 point into the ability right now. He's got an Ogre Club on his way to a BKB. But it's not going to be long now before he has that maxed out. And that is going to make such a difference in terms of Phantom Lancer's ability to fight very, very soon. And we can see Orange beginning to play a bit more defensive now. We're beginning to see them stick together a lot more than they did before. Mushi is isolated from his team. Needs to be careful not to show himself. Speaking of showing himself, here we go. Luo rushes up with Ayesee. They're going to catch Extinct, and now again, Magnus in good position. There's the split. Mushi going to be in the fight momentarily. Kabu's going to be nuked down, though, before he can do much of anything. That's 1 for 1 so far. Bounty tossed in the air by the air aspect. Mushi showing up and being enough to make Rattlesnake rethink having taken this fight. And they sold out real hard on the Lina and really didn't get a whole lot out of it. Buybacks out of Magnus and Bounty Hunter both. Now they're going to TPM. We've got Keeper of the Light bringing 1 in. And they're going to re-engage. They get 1 kill, but Ayesee now in some trouble. He spotted out Shockwave and the re-engagement RP. Going to catch Mushi. Ohio locked in place momentarily. The Centaur bringing a pause to the fight as he stomps and makes his presence felt. Mushi still up and fighting. So very tanky. The damage... decent, but finally he does drop. Now Net gonna be focused down. Kabu's got his eyes on him, and KYXY tracked out. They're gonna be able to escape because of it. And Ayesee actually manages to get another kill using the Spirit Lance. The fight continues as we have buybacks on the side of Orange. They've decided to move back out. Doesn't look like they're particularly keen on re-engaging so far. 17-10 as the dust settles and the 2 sides separate at least momentarily. The gold, though, and this is exactly what we were talking about, because of the track kills, even though Rattlesnake came out behind for the most part there, Loda, their gold is actually going upwards.
Yeah. Yeah, you're completely right about that, and I was actually a bit surprised by the double buyback coming up from Rattlesnake, but they wanted to keep fighting there, and they were able to pick off the Panda. They were able to make him buyback as well, and this game is just going the way of Rattlesnake right now. They had a plan, and they're taking the kind of fights they want to take. As you said, even if the fights are not that awesome for them, they're still getting ahead. Yep. They're getting space, they're both applying pressure, but at the same time they have the better late game.
Exactly. And now Mushi going to be tracked. They're going to engage on him. Telekinesis going to catch him. Illuminate should connect. Nah, only got 1. Got napped. Mushi able to dodge it. I'll tell you what, man. I am really enjoying watching Rattlesnake play. I feel like Orange still has plenty of opportunities to capitalize on here in this game. But not, and I don't care if Rattlesnake wins or not. I just love what they've done here. They've taken a lineup that combines very decent, basically an unorthodox approach to the lanes, and tri-laning the Magnus just to hold down the Lone Druid. They sent the Phantom Lancer mid. He didn't have that great of a start, but they're playing their way back into it on the back of one hero, which is the Bounty Hunter, handled by Luo. He's buying them just enough time to get the Phantom Lancer to where he needs to be. And right about the time that Phantom Lancer peaks, Magnus is going to be peaking with maxed out in power. We'll have level 2 or level 3 track, and they're going to be able to start doing more of what they're already doing, which is just being willing to spend gold to extend a lot of these fights.
Yeah. And I feel that Cabo is playing really well as well. His mag is doing some decisive RPs, and I really like the fight they took on bottom lane where he picked off the 2 supports right away. And I mean, he was almost able to kill both of them by himself, by blinking in, using RP, skewering them away, shockwave. And without these supports, Orange are a lot weaker. Because without SD, they have no one that can save or even copy the PL to be able to turn the fights and so on. So when he focuses on sports, I think it's a very good decision to just pick them up right away, and then you can focus on the fat heroes like Panda, like DK, like Silver.
I'll tell you what Orange needs right now. They just need a big team wipe. Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that will basically put them in a beautiful position. It's just so hard to do that against this lineup. But if they can they need to just win a fight outright. You know, not okay, they came out 2 kills ahead, but they lost 3 to do it. You know, it has to be a flat-out win. They need to get a pick. They need to be able to push off of it. And Rattlesnake not giving them the openings. They're going to go ahead and move up. We can already see the Phantom Lancer illusions becoming very annoying. Luo moving around the back. Now, there is a sentry ward here, so he's got to be careful. Can't rely on Shadow Walk that much. Mushi's there along with KYXY. Illuminate. Gonna do, nope, gonna come up a little bit short. But the entirety of Rattlesnake now just about ready to fight. Most of Orange, though, gonna go ahead and give the old loop-de-loop. Heading down into the river. They're gonna go ahead and try to sneak a Roshan here. They thought about it. They poked their nose in. Now they're gonna back out. Luo is gonna be there, and they're gonna be spotted out. Now, can they engage? There's a track out. They're gonna be able to catch Mushi. Manalik as well. He's looking for an RP. Only got net, though. He only got net. Now Orange wants to re-engage. Good clap. Good initiation out of the Brewmaster. Kabu has to make a run for it. Lanham makes his way back to the high ground. In the meantime, they manage to get the Shadow Demon. They're gonna get another track kill on net as well. Ayesee now the target. He's down to half health. He's just got his Yasha plus his Diffusal. Not tanky enough. They're extending this fight, and Mushi is in trouble. Luo is just playing like the assassin he wants to be. Skirting around the outside, allowing this to work, and Rubik got split! Rubik got split! And we're gonna see KYXY once again drop. Great play from our Rubik, being in the right place at the right time to get the key ability to allow them to just take this fight a little bit longer. And again, it's Luo, man. I followed Luo the majority of that fight with my camera. He got 3, like every kill was a track kill, and he took almost no damage. He was throwing his Shuriken for mini-stun. He was using Janata to slow down key targets, as well as Orange counter-initiated. They got nothing. Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel that Orange need to work on their focus in team fights, because they decided to try to bring down the mag when he had already used Skewer, he had already used RP, and still they chased him with both Mushi and the Slubber, plus the Panda. And during this time, the PL just cleaned up the supports. He killed the SD in a matter of seconds. The Lina wasn't much further from that, but then PL almost died. I mean, PL was so very close to dying that fight. If they would just somehow be able to pick off the PL after Mag has used his RP, then they suddenly don't have so much on Rattlesnake. But since the PL is able to survive, he's able to keep spawning illusion, and he's able to focus on the supports.
Right.
And that's where he's at his strongest at this point of the game. And I think Rattlesnake are doing this really well. And
now, speaking of PL, Manta style to go with that Diffusal. Time has run out for Orange. They need to win a fight right now. They cannot lose any more fights and hope to hang in this game. Luo, again, playing a fantastic game. Has a BKB of his own. 4 staff more or less complete now on the Keeper of the Light. Kabu's going to have a BKB of his own ready to roll this time around.
Yeah, this game is starting to look very grim for him.
Oh, Illuminate going to catch 2. Kabu's there. He pops the BKB looking for targets. He will be able to clean 1 up. Still has yet to use his RP. Mushi going to be the target, skewered backwards. And he will be cleaned up, but it doesn't matter. The damage already done. Didn't even need to RP. Now the defuse on KYXY. How many times have I said these words? The Druid dies again. Poor KYXY. 1, 6, and 3 on the Lone Druid. The net worth, 14,000 for Phantom Lancer, 10,000 for the Bounty Hunter. The Bounty Hunter has a higher net worth than the Dragon Knight. Put that in perspective, given the start that DK had. And Bounty is playing that well. And once again, the split coming out of Rubik. Gonna go ahead, use his Storm, his air aspect to get some vision. Roshan, likely to be the next on the casualty list of Rattlesnake. What a great game of Dota they're playing. What a great series of Dota they played today, Loda.
Yeah, Rattlesnake are just... They're getting... How should I phrase it better? They are getting so much more appreciation from me. Just looking at them before this game, I didn't really know what to expect.
Yep.
I knew a lot of people had spoken about them, and just players on the team like Lana, Kabu, who has been on very good teams before, but they were never really at the top. But they're looking extremely strong. I love the way they pick. I love the way they lane, and I have to say I'm very impressed by them this game.
Yeah, it's... coming into this, I think people knew that there was talent on the team based on their performance in Phase 2. But they had not been tested quite like Orange was going to test them. I mean, beating MUFC is no small task, so I'm not trying to talk down Winner and company. But Orange is just on a different level, and I think most people would agree to that. Rattlesnake, though, and it's one thing to win, but Game 1 was basically all Rattlesnake. We're 30 minutes in, and it's up. They skewered the bear out. Poor Spirit Bear. Oh, we knew ye little. Down he goes. But Game 2.
No bear.
I mean, Ayesee up on the high ground. There is going to be a disruption on him. There's a blinding light. That's so smart. Using blinding light in that situation just to make sure that the illusions from Phantom Lancer get the advantage.
Yeah. And they're playing this. They're doing the slow push. They know that they have no. They don't really have to hurry. They can just keep sending in those solutions.
Oh, KYXY! They got his buddy first. Second time they're going to get him. Now here comes the initiation from the Brewmaster. He's going to use split. BKB's up on Luo as well as on the Mag. Mushi can't do anything. He's tracked out. Where you going? Where you go? Yeah, they actually let him get away there. I'm surprised. I thought Mag was going to blink and skewer him. But
yeah, but I mean now they made Orange invest so much into that,
yep.
And they didn't lose anyone.
Yep.
And they still have the RP.
Yep. And Mushi back in the fight, immediately caught out again. I want to talk about that here in a second when this winds down, because I think we're about to reach the end of our game. There's another clap. They do get a decent amount of counter initiation. And Mushi's still up and standing. But we're going to see Lina end up dropping. Root on Luo holds him down momentarily, but the punching power just way too high on the side of Rattlesnake. And our poor Druid, once again, can do nothing. Down goes the first set of racks. And they may just mega them here. I don't know that they have the ability to force them out of the base again. But what I was going to say about DK, when he bought that Shadow Blade, I questioned it. Tell me, Lord, from a player's point of view, have you felt the influence of that Shadow Blade at all? Has that felt like a valuable item at all?
No, not at all. And I feel that especially that the Shadow Blade could be a good pickup.
Oh, good RP. 1 second. 1 second. Hold that thought. It looks like, yeah, this should be just about the end, I do believe. They might be able to get Ayesee, though. Yeah, and they will. That still is Aegis, though. And now we're going to have Luo playing super aggressive. But, yeah, the GG's come out. But, yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead and finish your thought now.
What I meant is that going Shadow Blade in this game, I feel that he should just have focused on getting those stats. Even go for an early BKB, the drums, yep, like you said, and then for the BKB. He should just tank up to make sure he survives these fights, because he is very important to clearing those solutions, keeping that Dragon Breath up, and just being able to tank when they want to push down towers. I feel that they didn't get so much out of this Panda, and not only because Ohio played bad, but because Rattlesnake were ready for it, and once there was some decisive panels, they had 4 staffs on the support, so they could just save anyone that Orange would go for. So Orange didn't have anything to actually shut people down, and the Shadowblade didn't really help them. The Shadowblade was, I think, just his playstyle. He wanted to change the game his own way. He wanted to be able to run around and get pickoffs, but Rattlesnake didn't really move that way. They ran around a lot together, either as 2 or as 3, and there's no easy pickoffs to get.
Yep.
So I completely agree. In this game, the Shadowblade pickup was the wrong choice.
It just didn't make any sense to me. It's imagine how different a game that could have felt like if he had a BKB and Rubik could not constantly telekinesis him. If he had the ability to use it to escape out of some of the situations when he was caught out. I mean, we can always look back. Hindsight's 2020. Looking ahead, though, Rattlesnake with a bright future in Dota, if you're going to take today as any indication. They rolled 2-0 over Orange Esports, a team that many consider to be one of the best on the planet. Not just one of the best in the region, but one of the best on the entire planet. And it took them 32 minutes in Game 2. Basically, if I'm not mistaken, it was 38-32. So you're talking 70 minutes to blank an Orange squad that I don't think anyone thought could be stopped here, at least in the early stages of Phase 3. And Rattlesnake carving a name for themselves and doing so in fantastic fashion. Lanham gets the best of Mushi once again in the grudge match, bound to continue. My MVP, Loda, I got to give so many props to Luo. Kabu was awesome in Game 1, and he was awesome in Game 2. He played a fantastic Magnus, as you had pointed out. But I feel like Luo played Bounty Hunter the way Bounty Hunter's designed to be played. Very opportunistic in his targets, but always staying alive, always skirting around the battle, and always making sure he had a track off every single time it was off cooldown.
Yeah, Luo played extremely well this second.